Okay, okay, hello. Are we good now? Dang it, the plug fell out. Shoot. Okay, let's try this one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, once again, for real this time, I would like to welcome you to the hottest show in all the globe, the Welch Report. Hey, with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise. There we go. Clap it up, get excited wherever you are. We are back officially, finally, for real this time, with sound and all, covering the world of boxing and beyond. And we got an action-packed show for you today, like with or talking about Usyk Cruz versus the likes of Ferrero. Ultimately, we got the likes of Usyk versus Daniel Dubois, and honestly, one of the biggest things with Pacquiao coming back to the ring, finally looking to attain his throne yet again, getting a championship against Mario Barrios in what would be one of the more unlikely situations in boxing history, at least in the modern day, at 46 years old, 6 years out the ring. We got predictions, we got takes, we got debates, and so much more. So we're so happy to be with you all today, covering all of it. And hey, getting our thoughts and opinions about it and enjoying a great show and as we create this thing together. So, for real, and then now that we got audio, I can say this legitimately now. Please, if you would, leave a like on the stream. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead and leave a like on the stream. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you want to say about the show, and we will read them, as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and be sure, always be sure, to share the show with everybody that you know, so we'll hold on one button so we can keep on building up this empire together. That's right, all thanks to you and your support, we are growing, flourishing, and thriving. And without you, hey, it wouldn't be possible. But with you, we're making this thing the best that it can be. No question about it, so we appreciate it all the more. Absolutely. But again, it's so much to discuss, more specifically on the side of the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world between Usyk and Dubois. We've got a lot of people saying a lot of stuff about how Dubois may come back and get revenge. Was it a low blow in the first place, or was it actually a clean shot? And what's Dubois what? Oh, we can go and talk about that and break down that fight as well, because that's the biggest thing of the night. So without further ado, hey, we got boxing to cover. We got sports to talk about. And since we talk about boxing first and foremost, it is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. That's right. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway, as we have to discuss again Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Yes, indeed. This here is time we're all excited for. And before we get started, let me be clear. Can you hear me? Let's get that out the way. First and foremost, is everything able to be heard? Is my voice able to come through the airways cleanly and effectively? Or is it a situation where it's still messing up? Cause again, I thought I had my plug plugged in. Are we good now? Is everything okay? Everything should be okay. And okay, we're good. All right, we're good. Just making sure I had a little bit of a scare there, and I thought that we. And I thought, oh Lord, I thought we had lost the opportunity. And I lost myself, but we here, we okay, we staying ready, and we here to talk about, again, the undisputed heavyweight championship between Usyk and Dubois. Who do you all think is going to win? Let's go on and get predictions out there. Hey, let's start this show off with a bang. Let's get some debates going on. Who do y'all think is going to win this fight? Do you think it would be the likes of Usyk dominating in another great performance en route to a title, or do we finally see Dubois, with all the training, with all of the comebacks, with all of the setbacks, finally reach the mountaintop and not just become a champion, but become the singular, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and start his era of dominance in this boxing division? Oh yes, it can happen, but I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll give you mine as well. And real quick, I'm just trying to do some subliminal checks while I am doing this show. I do apologize with with all the docs and stuff that we got going on. I'm sorry, but we're still here. We're still gonna rock. Jay Riggs, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the show. So glad that you are here with us today. And please keep on commenting, keep on like, oh, almost got shameless plug aside. If you would like to support the show and you want to give some money, give some support, help us invest back into the show, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links in the description as well, as we are waiting to get monetization with all that process that it entails. Hey, if you want to make this thing keep the lights on, help us improve, it'll mean the world to me. Anything we do, we appreciate it oh so much. But let me see what you all got to say in the chats down below. Let me see. J Riggs, I think Dubois gonna have to KO to win. Don't leave it to the judges. Well, it's gonna have to be a KO. No question about it. It's not just because you don't leave it in the hands of the judges. It's because Dubois can't outbox Usyk and win on points. He can't. He can't. Let's break down the fight right now. Dubois, there's no way that Dubois can go through and beat Usyk boxing wise. Yeah, absolutely not. That it would be stupid if you had to try. It would look like Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3 if we saw Dubois try to go and box with Usyk and trying to make this fight a real a technical affair. That's not what he needs to do. If he does do that, it's going to be a bad day. But if he goes to war and attempts to make this a rough, rugged affair, that's where we can see this man truly get a potential life-changing opportunity that ends in success, man, in terms of Usyk getting knocked out. Because he's going to have to get knocked out, I promise you. Let me see. But that low blow controversy should or could have turned the tables. And what we have to see, and I hope we do see it, the biggest thing with this whole Dubois situation, hey, you knocked Usyk down. Oh my gosh, you did it. You put the baddest man on the planet already on his knees. And you did it with a shot to the body. And this was a shot that many people are still to this day split. From technicalities to eye tests to line measurements, all this stuff. We've had so many dissections of that fight over the years. It ain't even funny. It's not even. It's almost laughable. Actually, let me rephrase it. It ain't funny. It's hilarious because everybody has turned into savants of the rule book. And so now, with that being the case, we are looking and saying, hey, as we continue to look to see this fight unfold, we now, at least along all sides of the aisle, whether you thought it was low or whether you thought it was clean, the shot hurt Usyk. That's the thing. And because the shot hurt Usyk, there is a avenue of victory. Go back to the well of what nearly got you to the promised land in the first place. Because that's what you failed to do the last time you got this close to greatness. The last time you got this close to immortality. You didn't go back to the well as much as you should have. And that's the issue. That's the problem. That's the biggest number. And also, Fight Buzz TV, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Appreciate you coming in on today. And again, I do apologize. Just as a quick disclaimer, I updated the chat bot to try to make it even more intuitive. And all of a sudden now the stuff ain't working like it's supposed to work. So excuse me while I'm also fixing this and talking at the same time. Not trying to go through and and be all over the place. I am trying to make sure that we are operating correctly. So I'm doing on the fly intricate work while I'm also talking. So please bear with me while I'm doing this. But again, Usyk caught Dubois caught Usyk to the body, and that could have, and maybe it was I should have been a knockdown. Now, I thought it was clean for the longest time. By technicality, rulebook wise, the brother hit on or below that midline of the belt line. So, ref said it was low. Now, I'll say this. We've seen countless times before punchers punching on the belt line, and it's completely okay. That entire vicinity of the belt line, up until the base of the belt line. And then it's clean. So, it's honest, to be real, it's ref discretion on what's low, what ain't low. We've seen refs call stuff that has hit the top of the belt line. Look, we've seen refs that have called shots to the actual exposed body low in some cases. And in some cases, we've seen people call stuff on the legs. All of a sudden, it's clean. So it's a topsy-turvy type situation where we don't know what, honestly, it's ref discretion of what they deem is indeed a low blow or not. Even after they make the line of demarcation in the meeting in the center of the ring, talking through and saying, hey, this is where you can hit, this is where you can't hit. And so Usyk has that in the back of his mind, and so does Dubois. And if Dubois really takes his time and deliberately attempts to go through and make it so that he forces the issue, so that he makes it so that they have to worry about whether or not something is low. And if it gets called low, you don't care. You keep punching, you keep priming, you keep throwing, and you keep pressing on. And you and force the ref to make a decision, and you force Usyk to worry. That's what you need to do if you are Usyk, or if you are Dubois, excuse me. And that's what I think Dubois can do. And if he does that, while also turning into a brawl, yes, we can see this brother become the undisputed champion. Oh, yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. It's entirely possible. But let me come over reading what you all have to say. Let's see, Dry Turkey, you need to buy a producer. Hey, brother, I would love to have a team around me to make this thing even better. Right now, I'm a one-man band, baby, on this show. I do everything by myself. Now, again, it ain't because I'm savvy and I'm good. I'm a bad brother. No, normally we ain't got nothing going on. But in the life things that do happen, hey, we operate and we adapt accordingly. But oh yeah, when I get some dough, oh, we're gonna have a team, we're gonna have lights, we're gonna have a separate chat manager, we're gonna have a social media, we're gonna have it all. We're gonna do it all. And I promise you, it's gonna be the best thing you've ever seen. You seen what Pat McAfee can do. We're gonna put that show to shame, baby. Once we get out there into the ether of the sports world, and I can't wait for it. Absolutely. And also, thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you are here. Let's see, J Riggs, I thought it was clean. I thought so as well. And it's because, again, most of that glove was on the line. And it really did look like Brother Usyk was hurt. Now, again, on a technicality, okay, could have been, was low by what the rule book says. And where most of the punch landed versus where most punch didn't land. But even still, if I'm Dubois, I am not letting Usyk have the luxury to say, hey, you can't hit me down there anymore. I'm going, especially now with him being a bull in the china shop in terms of Daniel Dubois, having the gall to go through and be this indiscriminate with his aggression, willing just to plow through competition like he learned to do with Jarrell Miller, like he mastered to do against Hrgovic, and like he ultimately did against Anthony Joshua. He has turned into a literal tank of a fighter. He does not care what is thrown at him. He only cares that if he can land on you. And he will be as aggressive and as dominating as possible by just walking through whatever you want to do. That's what he has learned is the best of his styles. He's not going to let himself go down anymore. He's not going to be willing to just lay down and say, up, I give up anymore. He's learned not just to have a gas tank, but he's learned to dig deeper. He's learned to pull from the well of desperation and turn it into power. It's hard to do that, especially when you've already hit rock bottom and seemingly everybody's writing you off. It is difficult. But when you are able to master it, when you're able to have it as a tool and a pool and a reservoir that you can gain strength from, that's where things can get really spooky for whoever faces off against you, because now you've been put on the back burner and you know how to survive, let alone you know how to thrive, because you promised yourself, I will never go back again. That's what he did. That's what he promised him. He promised himself, I will never go back to that way again. And because of that, we see what we see now. So it's incredible. So let me see. Drive ticket. I'll watch for half full. Well, hey, brother, how much you charging? Because that's a whole nother conversation. I ain't got much now. I ain't got much to pay at this point. Because again, we're trying to get a community that's big enough that it essentially pays for itself. You know, because again, I'm not trying to make this all about dough, but I am trying to pay some bills. But again, I want to do this with what I love. So the bigger the community gets, that's why I'm telling y'all to share. So I'm telling y'all to like. So I'm telling y'all to give it out to everybody. Not just because I want this community to grow, but we can be a self-caring ecosystem. We just with our environment alone, with the amount of people that we have here, we can sustain this channel by ourselves, along with sponsors when they come down the line. Oh yes, indeed. I can't wait for it. Absolutely. But that's why we do the work that we do. And so I appreciate it. But hey, shoot, I'll hit anybody up. And like I said, we will expand. Oh, don't question about it. We will expand and grow as this show keeps on going forward. Let me see. Ref's discretion is a joke. Too much gray area. And I get it. Again, it's part of the human element of boxing is the human error. It's what adds to the drama as well. Referees are supposed to be perfect, but them not being perfect is what adds to the intrigue of the fight. And I can't lie. Now, it's still their job to do what they're supposed to do. But referee discretion is a legitimate factor. It's a legitimate factor. Because it's like the wind. You don't know where it's going to go at points in time. You don't know what they're going to see in the fight, even if it's not what's actually reality. We've seen it countless times before. Get Tony Weeks against Barrios, when Barrios was going to knock out Rolly Romero, and Rolly Romero didn't land anything in that flurry against the ropes on Barrios, but still he stopped the fight. Ref's discretion. He thought he was hurt when nothing touched him. It is, you hate it, but also that's what makes this sport. And that's what adds to the potential outcomes of what this fight can be, more specifically on Dubois, or even against Dubois. Now, but what if the referee thinks that everything that Dubois throws is low? Now, Dubois is going to be forced to be restrained. What's he going to do? Is he going to still power through and say, nope, I'm not going to stop? I'm going to force you to stop me? Because I know what's there? Or would he have to capitulate and then try to go another route? That is not the body, which would be the best route for Dubois to attack to win this fight. That's where it's an interesting fact, I'm telling you. That's what makes it so exciting. Absolutely. Let me see, Coach Eddie. Coach Eddie, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. Daniel Dubois wins by vicious knockout. Yeah, that would be the way that it would need to happen. Again, I don't see Dubois being able to outbox Usyk in any way, shape, or form. Dubois is hold on, let me scoot over real quick. Let me make sure I'm centered. Am I centered on the screen? Okay, yeah, I'm centered on the screen. Okay, good. But Dubois is a violent fighter, but he is not a refined fighter. It's not bad. I'm not calling that bad. Stylistically, that's where he thrives. That's where he has learned to abide and grow and be great at. But that means, you to some degree, your power's got to be something that if you're going to go this route, you got to be able to make sure you can land. And you got to make sure you can deliver. Because if you don't, you are very susceptible to getting outclassed and with no means of return outside of a puncher's chance. And if you have to rely on a puncher's chance to win, that is not a good barometer or a good indicator of success that you can win, though it's not impossible. But Usyk is just a league's better boxer. Even with where Dubois has elevated himself to, it is still hard for me to say that Dubois can beat him. So I respect it, absolutely. I no question. I think Dubois can knock out Usyk. I just think it's highly unlikely that's going to happen. Let me see. Jay Riggs, I think Dubois going to tax the body since he has confidence. He hurt him in the same way the last time. Let's see. Coach Eddie, Andrew Galala. Yeah, when Andrew Galala fought against Riddy Bowe, that fight should have stopped. The fact that they let that fight go on for as long as it did, and Galala was continually landing shots below the belt, in both fights, both times. And he kept getting chance after chance after chance. I'm like, brother, at some point you're just being belligerent. And the crazy thing was, Galata was beating Bo. If you don't know, if you didn't know, Andrew Galata was beating Riddick Bowe when he was landing those low blows, which is insane. Because it's Riddick Bowe we're talking about. But he went to war with Evander Holyfield. And one of the greatest heavyweight trilogies of all time. Was a powerful, nigh undefeated champion. Yes, he had been beat, but it was, for a long time, that brother was looking like, hey, he was it. And it's insane. Now, hopefully we don't see a Galata situation in this fight. Oh, Lord knows, I hope we don't see that. Absolutely. But going back to J. Riggs' topic, Dubois going to tax the body since he has the confidence he hurt him that way the last time. That's the biggest differentiating factor in this fight. Confidence. That's the biggest issue. Or rather, that's the biggest great factor for Dubois. And we tracked this countless times before, but let's do for again a quick recap of history. Daniel Dubois was not the same Daniel Dubois that we see now in the past. Daniel Dubois used to be a brother who was seen as a quitter, a man who was seen as somebody who could not take it, could not withstand it, could not pine up for greatness because the brother wasn't mentally tough enough. The brother would quit. Now, there was some bigger context to that. He took a knee and didn't get up against Joseph Parker. However, orbital socket was broken and nearly lost his eyesight, so lived to fight another day with a damage that severe. I understand. Now, he still didn't move out the way of that jab by Joe Joyce, but still, understand that one. When he fought against Usyk and had a chance to win, what happened? He nearly got the victory. Yes, nearly got the knockdown. But not only did he not go back to the well as fervently, but also he again took a knee and did not get up. Or seemingly from a shot that looked like, hey, you can respond and still come back in this fight. But seemingly he admitted defeat. Again, maybe he was more rocked than we may have realized. I get it. Okay, everybody takes punches differently. But it looked like Dubois could have made another effort. And he could have had more in the tank. But he didn't. He opted not to. Of his own volition. Again, seemingly. So, label it as, hey, you can't take it. You can't stick it out. You aren't ready and aren't worth the time of these elites at the championship level. Then he faces off against Jarrell Miller. And all of a sudden finds a depth that he didn't know he had inside himself. Digs deep and knocks Jarrell Miller out in the last 10 seconds of the 12th round. Or 10th round. In a phenomenal fight. And all of a sudden, all that trash talk that we saw Jarrell Miller doing, all of the bravado that Jarrell Miller was doing, that we saw Daniel Dubois seemingly not be able to handle it or not be able to respond back to it or seem uncomfortable with it. He took on that moniker of his own and learned to have it instilled, hey, brother, I'm that dude. I am that guy. You can't talk to me the way you want to talk to me. And I have some mental fortitude now. And then he went and faced off against Hrgovic. Walked through right hands the entirety of the fight. Didn't bother getting out the way. Didn't bother blocking. Just walked through Hrgovic's shot. His guard was right here. His block wasn't even catching the shots that were landing at the top of the head. He was just walking forward like this. And stopped Andrew Galata. Cut him up and got him stopped with a doctor stoppage. Would have been an actual stoppage at the body if they let the fight go. It would have. Promise you it would have. And walks through Hrgovic, who beat a more in prime, though again he was still old, a more in prime Big Bang Jang. Then he goes through afterwards, gets a shot at the likes of Anthony Joshua, who had been at the mountaintop, who had been a man who we thought Dubois would never get up to the level of. And more than just get up to the level to him, he destroys him. Pre-fight, said, who do you think you are testing me? Who do you think you are thinking you're better than me? How dare you even have that mentality? He stepped to AJ, both mentally and physically, and came out on top in both situations. This man has evolved into a fighter with confidence, both in himself and in his abilities. The ring is no longer just a means of money. It's a means of battle. Not saying that it was, but the ring now is a reflection of Dubois' psyche. It is a reflection of his newfound drive and ambition. The ring is not just a squared circle. It is not just a workspace. It's not just a fight. It is a showcase of bravado. That's what it is for Daniel Dubois now. I rule this ring. That's how he feels. And there's nobody better than me. And you can't do nothing even if you tried. That type of confidence is something that we thought Dubois would never have. But he's got it. And because he's got it, all of a sudden the world in his eyes is his oyster. And the unbeatable is only a stepping stool. Usyk is a footnote. Usyk I tripped over a step. Now I'm going to step over that step this time. That's all it is. When in the eyes of Dubois, that's a dangerous thing. That's a dangerous sentiment. It's more than just, oh, I ain't got nothing to lose. Because I already lost to him once. Hey, I'm going to give him my all and go to beat him again. He ain't got nothing to lose. And this brother is crazy. He's crazy. Not crazy in the sense of he's insane, but he's crazy in the sense of again, to look at somebody and say, how dare you think you can beat me? It's a level of grandeur and delusion that people put themselves in to elevate their ability. But for Dubois, it's not illusion. It's a fact. The fact that you think you can test this version of me that's been through the fire, that's lost and come back, that's knocked out my last 4 opponents, that has gone through and beaten and stopped the same brother you couldn't stop. Remember, Usyk couldn't drop AJ. And he had opportunities. Usyk couldn't drop him. Both times. He outboxed him. He beat him. Couldn't drop him. He dominated him, but he couldn't drop him. Dubois destroyed Usyk, destroyed Anthony Joshua. He did. In a manner and fashion that we've never seen even the likes of Andy Ruiz do. Because even Andy Ruiz was losing the first couple rounds before turning the tide and rocking AJ and then winning the rest of the fight. And one of the most shocking upsets since Douglas versus Tyson. This wasn't even that. From the first round to the 5th round, was it 5th or 7th? Dubois didn't lose a round. Had AJ down, 3 times, almost 4. Had that brother full-blown unconscious by the end of the fight, where he was out like a light. Head to the canvas, butt in the air. Nobody had done that to AJ. I don't care how good or bad you think AJ is, how rocked or how chinny you think AJ is. Nobody in boxing had ever done that to Anthony Joshua. Nobody. That is different. That's different. That's something that Dubois sees as, this is why I'm this entity. I'm not a boogeyman. I'm the man. I'm not a threat. I am the challenge. I'm not just somebody walking through aiming for an undisputed title shot. No. I'm winning my titles. That's how Dubois feels, and that mentality can shape and change the way you fight, and it shaped and changed the way Dubois fought. And now Usyk's going to have to face that. And we could say Dubois won't be the toughest test from a technical perspective. We get that. Absolutely. Because again, he faced off against Tyson Fury twice. Understandable. But we can say this. There might not be, from the standpoint of threat level, of a Hey, this brother can put you down and put you out. Not just beat you, because he can do it. Fury could have beaten him because he was too big, but he didn't. But to put you out, this might be the biggest threat that Usyk has faced. Even above the likes of Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua was still finding himself as a fighter, still evolving or trying to re-evolve after devolving from his fight with Andy Ruiz. Still trying to find his footing again as a boxer puncher. He was stylistically within limbo. He was. We talked about this on the show. Dubois is complete. Dubois is whole. Dubois has no outside issues. Dubois has no inside issues. Dubois is a perfect circle of complete and utter destruction. He's not better than Fury. I'm not saying he's better than Prime AJ. But what I am saying is he doesn't have the problems that Fury or AJ don't have. Or that Fury and AJ have. He got more pop than Fury. Absolutely. And he gained a level of no quit mentality. And he's got a better chin than Anthony Joshua. But has honed in on the best avenues of his game, unlike with AJ, who seemingly has disassociated the best attributes of his game. This man is it. And this brother could be a threat. It's gonna be a great fight. I can't wait for it. I'm telling you what, I cannot wait for this fight to come about because it's gonna be an incredible sentiment and an incredible sight to see, no question. Hey, brother, we still got people in the chat right now. Let me see what you all have to say thus far. Let's see. Roman Vasquez, what's good with you, my brother? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. Again, if you're here, leave a like on the stream. Go ahead, get the likes up on the stream and keep on sharing the show with everybody you can so we can get people more involved in the conversation and have their voice be heard. Let me see. Usyk will repeat the same fight. He has too much control. That's true. Now, that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be the same fight, though. But I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to still see Usyk control and dominate and be what Usyk is. But I can't take out of the question what we know Dubois is coming in here with. Because it's not the same Dubois. If this was the same Dubois, this would be a boring fight to talk about. Because there'll be nothing he can do. But there is something he can do. That's what makes it so engaging. Absolutely. Let me see Franklin Zana. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. Good afternoon all. Will you be live streaming this fight? So we got a little bit of a dilemma here. We want to live stream the fight, absolutely. But we got like 3 fights going on. We got Pacquiao Barrios. We got doggone Usyk versus Farrell. We got Usyk versus Dubois. I'm trying to make sure I got the time right. I'm going to try to stream all of it. I'm going to try. We're going to see if we can make it work. We're going to see if we can make it happen. Absolutely. And so I just got to make sure I got my times right for each fight. So hopefully we don't miss which fight comes when. Lord willing, we see Usyk or Pacquiao and Mayweather happen early. And then we see Usyk and Dubois late at night. Or will it be Usyk and Dubois fighting early because it's over in the UK? And then Pacquiao and Barrios happening later on at night. I got to check the times. But if it's applicable, yeah, we're going to stream it. Yeah, we're going to stream the fight. Absolutely. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Usyk is going to school Dubois. Yep, again, I feel the same way. I just also know there's a little bit of danger I feel on the side of Dubois because I know, hey, this brother can cause an upset. Let me see. Moo Man, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here with us on today. Usyk is going, wait, hold on. Where's that? But He's not more complete than Usyk, though. He don't have footwork and adjustment quality. No, you're right. You're right. Usyk has better footwork. And again, let's break down what Usyk brings to the table. Usyk is Usyk. I mean, he's an undisputed champion, best pound fighter in the world in most people's eyes. Also, Justin Kemp, I just saw you pop in the chat. Hey, brother, what you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here with us on today. And always glad to see you come aboard on the Empire. But What was I saying? Oh yeah, as we're talking through, when we look at this fight, Usyk is still Usyk. Usyk is still one of the most technically gifted boxers we have seen in heavyweight history. Usyk is still on the mount or on to this era's, Mount Rushmore, the greatest of this time. Right now, pound for pound, number one, in many people's eyes, at least in the top three for most people. And potentially has the threat of retiring undefeated. Only done by the likes of Rocky Marciano, though it was with less fights. Still, would be an insane accomplishment going about and beating every major fighter of this era cleanly, without dispute. That would be ridiculous. It would be insane. But Usyk has better footwork than Usyk. Usyk has better stamina than Usyk. I'm saying Usyk's better than Usyk. Let me rephrase it. Let me start up. Usyk has better stamina than Dubois. Usyk has leagues better footwork than Dubois. Usyk is a better combination puncher than Dubois. Usyk is a smarter fighter than Dubois. Usyk is a more refined fighter than Dubois. Usyk is a more complete fighter than Dubois. Usyk, by every standard of account, outside of power, has every single thing better than Dubois. Even as a chin, he's got a better chin than Daniel Dubois. He does. He does. Based on history of what we've seen this man do. He has everything better outside of power. That's it. And still, there's a threat that Dubois can win. But it should be a case that we see Usyk completely outbox and outshine what we see Dubois want to do in the ring. It should be that he makes Dubois uncomfortable. It should be the movement and forcing him to track and punch off angles that makes Dubois set up for great counter shots that Usyk is able to land on. Just like he did in the first fight when he knocked him out or knocked him down with a jab. He can do that very thing again. If anything, he can do that on an even more dominating scale because of the fact that since he beat the likes of Tyson Fury and rocked Tyson Fury, almost knocked out Tyson Fury. Usyk now has some confidence in his own power, even more than he may have used to have had in the past. That's the truth. All of a sudden, and plus, because he's already done it to Dubois before, there's that level of, hey man, I might be able to do the same thing I did last time. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Oh, it's entirely possible. Oh, absolutely it's possible. No question about it, it's possible. We could see a complete whitewashing, potentially better than what we saw last time. Because he will use Dubois' more come forward style, more physically dominating stylistic nature now that Dubois has against, like a matador. He'll go around ole, and turn that brother around, cape and all, and have it so that all of a sudden Dubois is seeing red, but ain't nothing there. And it's like them old Bugs Bunny shows, the most Bugs Bunny cartoons. When he's running matador into an anvil or a wall or a spike or whatever the word it is, because he used that aggression against him. Use that dominating identity of Dubois and use it against him. Cause him to create his own demise. Put himself into an early grave. Put himself to the canvas. By just, hey, you're running into position. All I gotta do is just put my fist there. That's it. You're coming into the territory where, hey, I can put you out. All I gotta do is this. And then boom, you're hurt. Because you're so aggressive. Now, that does not mean that Dubois can't give Usyk some real trouble. Let's understand that right here, right now. That does not mean in the slightest that we don't have a situation with the likes of Dubois that can end in this brother going and putting Usyk on the canvas just by going through and saying, okay, I don't care about your movement. I don't care about your footwork. I don't care about your angles. I am just going to come forward and stalk you down, corner you, and then open up just like I did with AJ. Now what you going to do? Now, the biggest thing with that is AJ didn't have any head movement. AJ had no defense at all. AJ completely went just to try to be offensive with his hands down and everything. Usyk's not going to be like that. But just like we've said in the past, with the concerns with Shakur Stevenson going up against Zepeda, though we know how the fight outcome came about, the truth of the potential is still there. If you throw with enough volume, something will land. And if Usyk takes that same approach if Dubois, takes that same approach against Usyk, that can lead to something landing. Something. And that something, especially from Dubois, could be enough to turn the tide and change all of this. And turn it into a fight that shocked the world. All of a sudden, everybody's clapping and cheering, and we see this and new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Triple D, Daniel Dubois. We could hear just that if he goes about that route. And if it's successful in terms of on the side of Dubois. But no, it shouldn't be that Usyk completely outclasses, outshines, outworks, and outthinks Dubois. Because he's got all of it. And Dubois got the confidence to move forward, which is scary. But if there is nothing else that Dubois can do once that potential or once that mindset of moving forward, I don't care about what you land on me, I'm still going to come forward and destroy you. Once that doesn't work, even if you are tougher, even if you are stronger, even if you are mentally set, even if, yes, nothing else is affecting you, you're still losing the fight. And you can't turn it around. Hypothetically, that's what we could see. It is. And I don't want to just give. Or, I think Usyk's going to win. And I'm not trying just to diminish what we see Dubois have at the table. Nor am I trying to overhype when I talk about Dubois, what he can do. But we have to understand we're dealing with a fight of two extremes. That's what this is. We are dealing with a fight of two extremes. We can see this fight go completely one way, and Usyk does what he does, and there's nothing Dubois can do. Absolutely. There's a whole nother spectrum where we can see Dubois all of a sudden make Usyk's life a living nightmare. And come out to say, wait a minute. With all of Usyk's movement, with all of Usyk's talent, with all of Usyk's footwork, IQ, he can't get away from the power and the power shaking his butt up, especially if it's down to the body, the place where the head don't move, a place where it's always susceptible, a place where even through your block you can be hurt. And remember, I can't remember. I think I saw it somewhere, might be on social media, that people were saying that we don't see heavyweights get hurt to the body often. Understandable. But at the same time, when heavyweights do get hurt to the body, it's a detrimental thing. Perfect example, Big Bang Jang. Y'all remember Pacquiao? Don't y'all remember Pacquiao? When Big Bang Jang fought against Pacquiao? And Pacquiao, for 5 straight rounds, did nothing but attack the body without any remorse, without any second guessing, without any type of difference in thought process. He went through and cleaned out Big Bang Jang downstairs. For 5, and he got knocked down too. But guess what? It didn't matter. When he got back up, he kept on attacking the body. And next thing you know, Big Bang Jang couldn't take it. All those shots downstairs, he couldn't take it. And he goes through and boom, gets knocked out, gets stopped, and can't get back up. In the biggest win in Aji Caballo's career. We can't act like with the susceptibility that we see the likes of Usyk have in his career to the body, that this couldn't potentially be the same thing. And with the motor that we now see Dubois have at his disposal, that Dubois himself couldn't go through and rip downstairs to the body just like that. He might be outmaneuvered. He might be. We could see the likes of Usyk use all the footwork, and Dubois just continually boom, boom, rip downstairs. That's it. Up until at some point in time, the body fades. And so at the same point, that is the ticking clock that Dubois, inevitably, everybody, you're going to get caught and knocked out. What you going to do when the time comes when you got to get up? That very well could happen. But at the same point, it's a ticking clock on Usyk as well. If we see Dubois go with the complete, deliberate agenda of attacking the body, punching downstairs, and forcing you to have to mitigate the pain of the midsection for potentially 12 rounds. Can you withstand it? And when you're at your limit, now it's your turn to answer the call. Can you get up? Can you stay up? Can you withstand it? That's where the questions come into play. And that's where it's so exciting. And everything about this fight just screams unpredictability. And it also screams a sheer shoot. The best thing I can say is, but it screams, tune in. That's what it screams more anything. But this screams upset and or just incredible outright display. But I'm telling you, the smell of an upset, the smell of the most unlikely thing actually happening, it reeks upon this fight. And it's not because Dubois is better, but it's because the confidence of Dubois will allow him to do the things that are the very kryptonite to the likes of one Alexander Usyk. And so I have Usyk winning. I got him winning this time by unanimous decision. But something's telling me. Something's just telling me that this is going to be a fight that we could see Dubois indeed do the unthinkable. And if that does happen, now where do we go from here? That's going to be the question. I promise that's going to be the question. But let me keep on reading. Good gosh, we got a lot of people chatting. Like Matt Bergerson, great day. Shoot, you've been chatting up a storm. I'm so happy that you're here. Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad you. And if you would, please leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. And keep on commenting, keep on chatting, keep on sharing the show. And hey, if you want to support the show, Cash App and PayPal are available. Links in the description also. If you want to support and give some money, and if you can, help keep the lights on, help us invest back into the show, would mean the world to me, absolutely. But let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Listen, Matt Borgerson, there is no will stronger than Usyk. Usyk, one of a kind, amongst Ali, Foreman, and so on. He would defy the odds because millions of Ukrainians lives are raising him to the occasion. Oh no, that's absolutely a factor. Carrying the weight of a community, of a people, of your family on your back. See, that anime stuff of the power of friendship, it ain't fake. It will push you. It will drive you. It will help you. It will cause you to elevate beyond what seems to be. Now, again, baseline, we think Usyk should be able to clean the house with Dubois. But even if he needs an extra boost, he knows where to dig from. Because he's got it. He definitely has. Let me see. Usyk is amongst the 10 greatest heavyweights of all time and 25 greatest fighters of all time. No questions or debates on that matter whatsoever. Ooh, that's actually a great debate to have. We're going to have that debate later on in the show, though, if we can pull it up for the championship rounds. Because there's a lot of people that have a lot of feelings about that. I actually would love to hear what you all feel about Usyk being top 10 heavyweight and top 25 all time. We've had those conversations before. Now we can have them again because his career is starting to wind down. So now it's time to actually start putting a place for Usyk in the grandeur of boxing history. So it's time to have that discussion. Absolutely no question about it. And so I'm so excited. Let me see. He's an icon of his people. Image of hope for those who doubt the capabilities of being great in their own way and support the people the best way to get. Oh yeah. No, he again as a role model and as a person, you hit the nail on the head. Usyk has turned his fame not just into financial standing, but into a standard that people want to follow, into a bar of greatness, in and outside the ring. Everybody wants to see and have the chance at being able to attain. So it is incredible. He's incredible. He's phenomenal. That's literally all. That's all you need to say about it. He is phenomenal because the way he has gone about his life and career is indeed just a crazy thing. And I say crazy in the best way possible. Absolutely. Let me keep on reading what people have to say. Dry turkey. To say Usyk is top 25 fighters ever is expected history of boxing. What? No, it's not. It's not. It ain't just, and again, hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Wait. Hold on. We still got some show to do. Now. I told you that was a good debate to have. Let's pin this topic of is Usyk top 10 in heavyweights? Who he's better than? All-time rankings? Let's pin this for the championship rounds. We still got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We still got a plethora of things to discuss in the world of boxing right now. But in the meantime, let's put a pin in it. And let's say that for when it's championship rounds and we got full reign and we cover everything that we need to cover. Because I promise you, it's a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, let me put it in my notes right now as something to discuss for the end of the show. So I make sure I don't forget it. Because I knew it was going to be a hot-butted issue. I knew it was going to be a big thing to talk about. But I didn't want to talk about it now because we were trying to make sure that we got through the show first. Oh, man. Let me put it in my notes right now. Let me see. Okay. All right. So I gotta say, and that's gonna be a talking point to use once we get to the championship rounds. Is Usyk? In fact, hold on. Let me go on and I'll go on and make it a topic. Let me real quick. Hold on. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. And I can do this right now. I'm gonna change one of the championship rounds topics to go to be this very conversation of is Usyk a all-time great or not? Yep, fits perfectly. All right, so we got it built as a topic. We got it pinned. End of the show, we're going to come back to it. Because we still got to talk about Pacquiao. We still got to talk about Usyk Cruz and all that. Still got a plethora of things to discuss afterwards. But let's pump the brakes on a little bit because we still got a show to do. Absolutely, but I promise you. I promise you, this is why I was scared to open up that can. This is why I was scared to open up that can of worms. Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to start. It was going to start a big old conversation. But we had to continue. We had to continue, sadly. Before we move on, though, because again, full disclosure, last thing about the predictions, I have Usyk by unanimous decision, not by knockout, because of the newfound chin that we see Dubois have and the newfound confidence in I can take any punishment that you give me. So I think he'll win by decision, but it is not out the question, and it's closer than people may realize. The potential that Dubois can knock out Usyk to the body, it's real, and he now is fighting in the style that can make that knockout possible. That can relentlessly attack the downstairs body of Usyk. It's possible. But beyond that, because again, I have Usyk winning by unanimous decision. After this fight, retirement talks have been coming up, and we got to ask, is this going to be it? He said he's got 2 fights. He does. With this fight counting, he's got 1 more. Who would he fight next if he beat the likes of Daniel Dubois? Would you want to see an Usyk? Would you want to see an AJ for a 3rd time? Would you want to see a Fabio Wardley hypothetically? How about a Joseph Parker, who's been waiting in the rings for the likes of who knows how long, for a shot at the undisputed title with them being a mandatory? What route do we think he could go through? Because it should not be Fury. Because Fury's at the back of the line because Fury lost the likes of Usyk twice. And we want to see AJ and Fury fight against each other finally. But if that doesn't happen, what will be the most likely thing? And while I hate the fact that it's going to be the case, most likely it is going to be the case. We're going to get Fury and Usyk in their trilogy one last time for Usyk's final fight. I promise you. And I hate it. It shouldn't be. Should not be the case at all. But reality situation, brother, Fury is too much of a cash cow. And there is still not many people, especially, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait, my camera, wait. No. Whoa, what happened? What happened? Wait. Wait a minute. Hello? What happened? Wait, I'm gone. Wait. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. I don't. Lord. Okay. Now that's the first. Okay, hold on. Are we back? Am I? Okay. Look, I'm sorry, y'all. I got so animated. Hold on. Let me clean the camera. Let me clean it. Make sure we're looking spiffy. See, I got so animated. That I hit something. I went too hard. Hold on a minute. I hit something on my desk. That caused the thing to go out. Okay, we're back. We sure. Okay. All right, we're good. Oh my gosh. See? You see what happened? First, all of a sudden, y'all, we bring up one conversation about GOAT talk, and everything just goes to pot. I mean, great day. One conversation about the GOAT in the boxing world, and everything goes to pot all of a sudden. Great day in the morning. My gosh. But look, let me keep on reading these topics real quick before potentially anything else goes wrong on this show right now. Let me see. Wait, hold on. Is that who I think it is? Is that, Sergey? Where you at? Hey, brother. Sergey, what's good with you, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for it again to the show. And the chat bot has finally updated. And it's complete. It's all well and good. Or rather, the update finally took effect, though it was already done before we started this thing. Now it's taking effect. Chat's working fine. We can see what you say now, thankfully. My gosh, everything's on the up and up. We working. We thriving. Everything's okay. See, I'm a one-man band, but we rock. Cause we good. Cause I'm good. I'm like that. I'm just that good, doggone it. Yeah. I told you I'm gonna figure it out. I told you, I'm an everyman. I'm a handyman. I'm the man. I'm that man. That's what I am. Absolutely. Let me see, Sergey, what you got to say. Usyk is next level of speed, stamina, and technique. No question about it. Again, that's why I have him winning. I don't think it's going to be by knockout this time, though. But I have him winning in a, well, maybe not as dominant, still definitively dominant stamina. or definitively dominant style. No question about it. But let me see. Let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Hold on. Wait a minute. Good, great day. I'm telling you, this is why I wanted to bring up the GOAT talk for later. Cause if we go through it now, I mean, shoot, we would not have time to do the rest of the show. But let me see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, and talks of the trilogy, we got people saying Fury doesn't deserve a trilogy. Man, Dry Chuck, you feel the same way? Fury doesn't deserve a trilogy. He needs to beat Caballero or Parker first. See, I agree. You gotta understand, I do agree. It's not that I don't want Fury to get an immediate shot just because he's Fury. Now, like I just said, there are not, regardless of how you feel, there are not 3 heavyweights better than Fury. There isn't. It's still, from a talent standpoint, it's still Fury. Or it's still Usyk, Fury, and everybody else. That's still not negotiable. But that doesn't mean you get to skip because you are both the cash cow and the talent when you've gotten 2 cracks at the egg and then boom, it didn't break. And you lost. And the thing is, Fury could still beat those other boxers with relative ease. Like him versus Caballero, I would think Fury handles Caballero relatively easily. And this is not to disrespect Caballero. It's because the dimensions and what Fury can do can keep Caballero off of him and can hurt Caballero. And can mitigate that relentless body attack that we see Caballero do, especially when he went up against Giant. Like he could beat that. That's not me trying to be disrespectful. That's the talent of who Fury is. But you still got to do the work. And so you should have to beat him. You should have to go through and destroy him. You should have to go through and walk through the ladder. At least beat Anthony Joshua. That's all I'm asking. At least, if you're going to do something, beat Anthony Joshua. And then go through and fight Usyk. That's what I would want to see. Absolutely. As I'm drinking. See, it's lemon water today. We're going healthy today. Lemon water today. I'm trying to, I love my coffee. I do. We can't do it all the time. No, that can be bad, though. That can be bad. But let me see. Jose Chavez, what's good with you, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the show right now. What do you have to say? Canelo will be the most viewed fight of the year. Yes, it will. Oh, no question about it. That fight is going to be most likely seen by the biggest audience in boxing history. Collectively. Most likely. Now again, later on in the show, we can talk about it. Because we still got to talk about Pacquiao. We still have to talk about Pacquiao in the card that he's on, or that he's headlining as well. But that fight, just as a quick disclaimer, that fight could definitively, definitively change how we watch boxing and pay-per-view as a whole. Because already Turkey Usyk is saying he wants to do away with pay-per-view. Because pay-per-view now is a dying breed. Again, his words, not mine. Paraphrasing, of course. But his words, not mine. And with Netflix providing fights on their platform with the base subscription for free, without any extra stuff, now DAZN switching their pay-per-views into, if you subscribe, or to doing away with them, and if you subscribe to DAZN, you get every fight on Riyadh season without any other pay-per-view necessary. So you pay for DAZN, you get every fight, period. That's what people thought was going to happen in the first place. That is the future of what the sport can be. And that can make it so we can put boxing back on the map as one of the big 3 sports, not just in America, but in all the globe as well. So there's a shift. And if this thing works out like we think it's going to work out with Canelo and Crawford, it can be major. And it can be the definitive nail it can be the definitive steel rod that is placed into the ground to start the foundation of a complete change in this sport of boxing to be seen on a wider scale. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it all. Fury has a big fan base, absolutely no question about it. He does. Let me see. MS, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks so much for tuning into the show. Let me see what you got to say on today. I just hope Dubois makes it out the ring without any complications this weekend. Lord, if he gets knocked out, hey man, look, if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. It just speaks to the greatness of Usyk. It's not gonna be held against him because you got knocked out to Usyk. Like it's Usyk of all people. That's the thing. If this buddy can knock down Tyson Fury and make Tyson Fury have to respect the power, he can knock out many people, most any in the division. So it wouldn't be bad against him. It would just be like, dang, Usyk is just one of the ones. Usyk is just one of those all-time greats that transcend age, era, and and skill level. Because his skill is just oh so high. And he's oh so dominant. It's insane, absolutely. Crawford has no fans. Well, see, now this, hold on now. Wait a minute, hold on. Time out, flat on the play, technical foul. Now, I need to get a whistle. I need to get a whistle sound effect on this thing. But technical foul, going the other way. Bold face lie. Both people got both of them have incredible fan bases. Yes, Canelo's is bigger. And Canelo is still the face of the sport. But no, it ain't like it ain't like it's just ho-hum, complete obsolete. Nobody knows Crawford. That was the case, we wouldn't be having this fight happening. I'll guarantee you that. But let me see. To be honest, Mr. Welch, Roy Jones beat John Ruiz. Does Usyk see? Oh, shoot. Okay. Again, the GOAT debate talk, we're going to save for later on. The GOAT debate, that comment, we're going to save for later on. But I can answer this real quick before we move on to Pacquiao. I can answer this question. And then we'll have that GOAT conversation stuff, championship rounds later. But this, Usyk would beat Roy Jones Jr. if he faced off against him. And see, here's what. I kept comparing what Crawford is doing fighting against Canelo. It's like if Roy Jones faced off against Lennox Lewis when Lennox Lewis was in his prime, reigning as a heavyweight champion in the early 2000s. Usyk is of that same talent. Some people are saying he might be better than Lennox Lewis as a fighter. Again, we're going to say that talk for later. But I don't think with the amount of footwork and legitimate angle uses and technical ability that Usyk has at his disposal, I don't think it would be the case that Roy would be able to beat Usyk at heavyweight. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. But even with the great Roy Jones Jr., there are still limits that have to be curtailed. And just like I said, if he beat Lennox, it would be the greatest feat in history because Lennox has everything to beat Roy. And Roy's got to be nigh perfect to fight him to make sure he comes out with the win. Same thing would be with Usyk. Though the power may not be as substantial, it's still, now you're dealing with somebody 245 that has some of the greatest footwork that we've seen in heavyweight history. Just like with you in boxing. And has a sixth gear just like you, can go to deep waters just like you, can turn it up and become aggressive just like you, but it's bigger than you. But at heavyweight can do things that heavyweight shouldn't be able to do. And he already has been fighting like the smaller man in this division for oh so long, having to use the skills that Roy Jones had to use when he fought Ruiz. Now he's the bigger man, and he knows the ins and outs of how to beat the likes of what Roy would be able to do because he had to fight like Roy going up there. It would be, in terms of using his skill more than his size, I think it would be too much. I think it would be too much. Because if we want to make the comparison, that's like saying if Tyson fought Roy when Roy moved to heavyweight instead, again, when Tyson was Tyson, we're talking about the best versions, who would win? I would pick Tyson. because it's too much of the skill factors right here, but the everything else Tyson's also has in physical abilities. Same thing with Usyk. And so I don't think he could beat that. Just like I don't think he could beat Lennox Lewis if he had fought against him instead of John Ruiz for the title. But still, that would be a great fight to watch. I can't lie. I can't lie. I can't lie. I don't think Roy would win, and I love Roy. Again, y'all know how I feel about Roy. Second greatest talent fight, raw talent, second greatest fight I've seen since Sugar Ray Robinson. But there's still limits, and I think Usyk would be that limit. They're not. He wouldn't be able to beat him. I don't think so. I don't think he'd be able to beat him because it would just be too much of a collective, talent standpoint, as well as the physical size and power, and enough speed to make it so that, hey, Roy, you're not going to just be able to use your legs like you've been able to do this whole time and get out clean as grass. Something's getting to you. Especially when Usyk has the mind that he has to set you up and trap you with stuff. And got the power to actually control you as well. Which, again, John Ruiz had the size, but he didn't have that level of skill. He didn't. Let's be real. John Ruiz was again, with all due respect to John Ruiz, I'm not calling him a bump. But of those talents, he didn't have this level. He didn't have this. Nowhere close to this that Usyk had, or that Lennox Lewis had, or that the other champions at the time had. So, I don't think Roy would be able to beat him. And it's not because I'm trying to dismiss him. It's because there are limits. And I think that is one of those limits, at least in my humble estimation. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. If there's nothing else, we're going to move on to the next thing of the show. Usyk will give problems to any heavyweight in any area. Yeah, I can see that. Let me see. Miss Queen, how you doing? Let's see. John Blessings, I return. Give me a hug. Hey, girl, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Just so glad that you're here. We're always here for hugs and excitement. We're always here to let everybody in on the Empire. We appreciate it so much for you tuning in to the show. Also, real quick, my lighting is starting to change because it's getting a little bit cloudy up here. Let me close my window and help keep the room light more than anything because it's starting to make me look a little too dark right now. I'm starting to. Again, I love melanin all day, all night. You know, any shade or color, but at the same time, I do want to make sure I look like me. So just to change the lighting a little bit, because it's starting to get a little bit cloudy. I think actually it's about to rain. I can't lie. I think it's shoot. Yeah, I think it's about to rain in here, which I don't want to happen. I don't. But actually, let's go on and do this show real quick, because if it's as bad as it's looking like outside, we might have to end this early because I don't want the power going out on this show. So let's keep on going through. Let's keep on continuing with the second topic of the day, which is, can Pac-Man beat Barrios? That is right. Going into the next topic of discussion, Mario Barrios is defending his title, going up against the Hall of Famer, legendary competitor, one of the biggest moguls in all of boxing, in the likes of Pac-Man, the man himself, the 46-year-old legend. Manny Pacquiao returned to the ring, attempting to take the title off of Mario Barrios this weekend. What are your thoughts on this fight, and who do you feel, or and what? Excuse me. Good gosh, let me slow down. Who do you think is going to win on the night of this fight? Because listen, what Mario Barrios with the upset. Now hold on. Now wait a minute. Now hold on. Now wait a minute. With the upset, I get the win, but this ain't no. This ain't no upset now. This wouldn't be no surprise if Mario Barrios won. I'll tell you that, because it would be a full blown. Honestly, it would be expected if Barrios won, because we're talking about Barrios. Talking about anybody who's already been in the war with Ramos, has yes lost but been in the ring with Tank, has been a champion, is now reigning as a champion, is still a dangerous competitor at this weight class of 147. And he's fighting a buddy who's been out the ring for 6 years in Manny Pacquiao, who, mind you, had a great, what seemed like his prime, or at least his competitive prime, was never going to end up until it just ended against Ugas. And in his fights overseas against other fighters, he has not looked the same, has he? He ain't looked the same. He has not looked like the Pacquiao of old. That's like, hey, he can come back to the sport and be just fine. He's still getting caught. He's still getting hurt. He still can give up. He still has been under a litany of concerning situations in regards to him fighting in these exhibitions that make him look at like a person who, hey, you should just hang it up. But fights here, regardless of which. So we're going to talk about how we think it's going to happen. So as we break down the fight right now, how do we think Pacquiao can even attempt to get this victory going up against Barrios? Well, one thing is there to already help him out. He's a southpaw. He's tough. As a southpaw, it helps him out tremendously in having the ability to go through and be able to go and think about, or not even think, to go and operate in a manner that's already given Barrios the level of trouble. Again, going back to the Tank fight. Tank is going to be the big barometer for what we can see Pacquiao do to win this fight against Barrios, because Tank has a formula that Pacquiao can also implement on his own way. With that straight left hand that he's got, he has the ability to go through and lead with it and land on Barrios straight without any setup, without any lunging, without any extra jab. Catch Barrios while Barrios is expecting something else. Catch him naked instead of trying to set him up with something and blind him, because it worked for him before. And be able to you're going to have to work your way on the inside, so you're going to have to slip some shots. You're going to have to be able to use not just head movement, but also some real good footwork. Not just to cut off the ring. If we see Pacquiao just fight with his guard, or with his jab, that long 70+ inch jab of Barrios. But if he does fight on the back foot, you're going to have to be able to not just get away from the jab, slip the jab, get under the jab, but also avoid that right hand that Barrios can bring down the pipe. That if you're in the wrong spot, you're going to get set up. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad, really bad. But if you can get around it, you have the offensive flurries, and you still got some heavy hands. And there's a Pacquiao, because the power don't go away. Everybody's been saying, even Keith Thurman said that Pacquiao's got some heavy hands on him to this day. So that ain't changing. But if he can land those shots, then we got an opportunity for Pacquiao to maybe have some momentum. Maybe have some rolling thunder, like he would normally be able to do when he goes pop, 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 pop. Like he did against Keith Thurman, like he did against Adrian Broner, like he did against Ricky Hatton. Turn back the clock if he's going to have to. And then also, you have to, it's going to be insane to say, but it's Pacquiao we're talking about. You're going to have to outwork Barrios. Not time him, not counter him, outwork him. You're going to have to. If you do that, there's a chance of victory. Shoot, Pacquiao's got enough heavy hands, he might be able to get knocked down. It's possible. And he could get the upset. I just don't think it's going to happen. Because, my gosh, when we're looking at Pacquiao, when we're looking at the exhibitions, when we're looking at everything that we've seen Pacquiao be since retired, it doesn't look like he's got the ability anymore. And with everything you know about Barrios, the length, the strength, the power, the jab, the combinations when he does really get going, the relentless pressure he can also apply on his opponents when he's walking forward, all of that is still there. But the biggest thing that why I think Barrios is going to win is Pacquiao's legs are just non-existent anymore. Seemingly, the legs of Pacquiao were Manny Pacquiao. The legs of Pacquiao are what allowed for him to be as explosive of a fighter as he was. for his entire career. The legs didn't just generate power. They generated angles. They closed the gap. Allowed him to bounce in and out. Caused him to have the ability and the ability and the capabilities with his physicality to do things so unorthodox, yet they were so effective. But once that went away with Ugas, it turned into Pacquiao can't move. He can only rely on, hey, but I got to throw with my life. And again, he threw an insane amount of punches against Ugas, but he lost. Because the other part of the game plan, when your legs are gone, a good portion, especially if you're Pacquiao, a good portion of what you are as a fighter goes away. And that's problematic. We saw it with Tyson. You can have all the head movement that you want. You can have all the technique of you know what to do to get out the way, to counter, to land stuff. But if you ain't got the legs to close the gap to do it and the balance, you can't do it. That's the issue. Some people have adapted to it, like with Tyson Fury, like with George Foreman way back in the day. But still, those are the more so nuanced instances. Also, they were huge fighters. So not moving wasn't as big of a discrepancy for them. But as small fighters, yeah, it can be problematic. Yes, it can be problematic. And for somebody like Pacquiao, going up against Barrios, where his legs are going to have to carry the weight of being able to make this win a win for him. If he does not have his legs back, there's no way he can win. For me, in my estimation. And I hate it. There's no way he can win. But with that being said, I'm still taking Pacquiao. I don't care. I'm still taking it. Well, I'm still taking it. I am still taking it. You know why? Because I'm in this situation, I'm a sucker for being a fanboy. I gave you my breakdown. I gave you the what and why. I gave you exactly why Barrios should win. I gave you exactly why Pacquiao can't win. I still want Pacquiao to win. I don't care. Make it happen. Make it happen. I want to see him do it. I want to see him. I want to hear the bell ring and we hear and new welterweight champion of the world. I want to hear it just for the sake of witnessing history. See Pacquiao get back to the mountaintop one more time. Because it would be insane to see. And it would not just put a cap, it would further elevate Pacquiao's career. And for some people, might put him in the top 10. For some people, will elevate him above the top 10. We can't lie. We've been talking about GOAT. We've been having discussions about GOAT conversation for the longest time already. But if Pacquiao wins this fight, let's keep it a bean. Let's be real about this. If Pacquiao wins this fight and becomes champion at 46, 6 years out the ring in his first fight back, going up against Mario Barrios of all people, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We're talking about potentially a top 8 fighter now. And wouldn't that be fitting? 8th division champion, number 8 all time in the ranks of boxing history. If he does indeed achieve this and beat Barrios, because this would be one of the most insane things I would have ever witnessed. I'm serious. And we got potential of 2 insane, uncommon feats happening at the same time or in the same year with Crawford and Canelo, and then Pacquiao beating Barrios, hypothetically, if they did happen. So I know it's against my better judgment. I know I shouldn't do this. I know it's wrong, but I don't care. I'm picking Pacquiao. I'm doing it. I do not care. I'm picking Pacquiao. I want to see him do it. Come on, Pac, man. Come on, brother. Let's do it. Let's get out there. Let's go, Pac. Let's go, Pac. Sound like Shannon Briggs. Shoot. But let's go, Pac. Make history one more time. Take me back to when I was in college and I saw you beat Adrian Broner. Take me back to when I saw you beat Thurman. Take me back to when you were beating Father Time's butt. Come on. Come on. We want to see it. Or at least I want to see it. At least, again, that's me fanboy. But I don't care. I want to see it. That's my that's my personal thing. And so, yeah. Listen, Pacquiao should hide behind the referee when Barrios comes forward. Stick a few jabs. behind the referee until he gets knocked out. But you think this is? What you think this is WWE? What you think this is about his Edge or Ric Flair? Hide behind the referee and then boom, landing a low blow. That's what we want to happen. I mean, if he did, that would be funny. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious if that did happen. But for some people, that might be the only way that he can win, regardless of which. I hope he gets the win. If it's a knockout, hey, my goodness, even more insane. But if he can pull this off, would be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever witnessed. I guarantee you. Let me see. Chris Rock. If this is the real one, hey brother, what you doing? If it's a fake one, hey brother, what you doing still? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you are here. Let me see what you got to say on the show. Which fight matters more? Ooh, that's interesting. So the fight that matters more is Usyk versus Dubois. That's the fight of the two fights happening this week. That's the fight that matters more, no question about it. No question about it. That is the fight that matters more than anything. Usyk versus Dubois. Because see, the ramification, again, I can go and switch the, can I switch the topic back one more time? Yes, I can. The Pacquiao and Barrios is a fight of insane and unpredictable performance or unpredictable abilities. It's a fight where the impossible, if it did happen, would be historic. No question. But in the ramification of moving the sport forward, Usyk versus Dubois is the fight that means more. This fight either stamps or rewrites the hierarchy of the heavyweight division. This fight either either stays the status quo, and potentially this is Usyk's last fight. If he says, you know what, I don't want another fight, and after all, I'm just done. Or this turns Dubois into the new best, baddest man in the land, beating Usyk. This fight changes potentially pound for pound conversations. If Dubois beats Usyk, Dubois is in the pound for pound. That's the truth. After the year he had last year, coupled with him beating Usyk, you couldn't tell me he wouldn't be pound for pound. You couldn't tell me. Now, you can say he doesn't deserve to be high. That's fine. But you couldn't tell me he doesn't deserve to be there. He is there. And then somebody's getting bounced. Somebody's getting put out. Somebody's getting out of those conversations of pound for pound discussion. Usyk may retire if he loses this fight. It's entirely possible. He can lose it. He can retire. He can retire if he loses this fight. He can fight Fury if he wins. He can fight Caballero if he wins. If Usyk wins, we're interested to see what other brand of fighter is able to get a shot at the title. And will it be a crop of new young talent all get in the range first and foremost? If Usyk wins, again, we got a Tyson Fury trilogy. Or we have a qualifier where it's Fury and AJ. Winner of that gets Usyk in Usyk's final fight. There's so many changing parts to this. There's so many newfound layers to all of this. With the new players in the game like AJ Caballero, like Moses Atuma, like Fabio Ward. Though he lost, Justice Hooney, who's still in the mix. But Coley and F.A. Ajagba still trying to fight out of a draw with their own right. But still, competitors all around. This is a fight built to shake up the groundwork of the boxing world, depending on the outcome. It's way more important. Though the likes of Pacquiao and Barrios would be way more historic if Pacquiao did win. Importance-wise, that fight with Fury, or that fight with Usyk and Dubois, that one is a landscape shifter. That is a tectonic plate manipulator. That will shift the very essence of what this heavyweight division is going to be. Win or lose. And so that's why I think that's why I feel it's more important that's why I think it's more important of a fight to have in this whole saga. But again, we went an hour 32. What? You know what? I got to make sure I get out of here before potentially this big storm comes down the line. So let me go on ahead and make sure that we do this right. And I think because of that, we're going to start our normal frame of reference earlier. We're going to do championship rounds right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, now it's time for the championship rounds. Yes, sir, that's right. It's time to make the show your own. Comments, thoughts, and opinions, the debates and whatnot. Whatever you want to discuss and talk about, whether it's the fights with more with Pacquiao, more with Barrios, more with Usyk and Dubois, the fights on the undercard, like with Usyk versus Ferrero, which, full disclaimer, that fight might steal the show for the Pacquiao and Barrios card, because they went to war last time in an insane display of action and intrigue that was just chef's kiss, knockdown, drag out brawl of epic proportions. That fight can steal the show bigger than anything else on this card. I'm telling you right now. Oh my gosh, no, I almost forgot. Ben Rodriguez also, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Ben Rodriguez, Kafu, bantamweight title, or junior bantamweight title, they're fighting July 19th. Pacheco McCumbee fighting July 19th. Usyk Dubois fighting July 19th. Pacquiao Barrios fighting July 19th. Fundora Tim Tszyu fighting July 19th. Usyk Cruz, Angel Ferrero fighting July 19th. Good gosh, oh shoot. Oh, okay. Oh shoot. Oh my gosh. So we got a little bit of a dilemma here. I didn't realize this, but and let me see if I can share my screen real quick. In picture. I didn't realize this at all. But great day in the morning. I don't know what to watch. If you can see right here, and again, we're in the championship rounds now. So whatever talks, conversation, debates you want to have, you can make the show your own. We can talk about it. We can discuss it. Again, we already have a docket on the marker for the likes of the fight or the greatness of Usyk, whether or not he is top 10 pound for pound or not. We're going to talk about it absolutely right here, right now. But full disclaimer, real quick, I'm looking at the date, and I'm thinking that we had some slew of things down the pipe. Brother, Pacquiao, Barrios, Fundora, Tim Tszyu, Usyk Cruz, Ferrero, Figueroa, Gary Russell, Masaigo, Usyk Dubois, Ben Rodriguez Kafu, Pacheco McCumbee. All of these fights are on the same day. And that just hit me. How am I going to watch all of this? Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Oh no. Oh no. That's shoot. I never want to miss a Ben Rodriguez fight. But I don't want to miss the Usyk fight. But I don't want to miss the Pacquiao fight. Or the undercard, because that undercard is the best undercard of all of the fights on that night. Oh, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I didn't realize it. Let me see. Mouthpiece. What's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here. Let me see what you guys say. What's goody? What do you think about the Celtics at the moment? Check ball. Oh, we talking about basketball. Okay, we can talk about a little bit of ball before we go back into the go conversation, because I know we got some people waiting to have that discussion. Let me answer this question, and then we're going into, is Usyk top 10 all time for the GOAT debate in the heavyweight division? Or is there another conversation? Let me answer this question first. Boston right now is, let me see, you lost Derek White. No, let me see, y'all lost at this point in time. Y'all lost Porzingis. Y'all lost Holiday, you still got Tatum. I guess y'all, unless I missed something and Jaylen Brown has been traded, you still got him. But in fact, let me look at y'all roster right now. Give me a second. Okay. Unless I'm missing something and all of a sudden somebody's out. Hold up. Wait. Hold on a minute. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. It is some breaking news. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Okay. Never mind. Okay, yeah. Okay, we good. So you got Tatum with the Achilles. He's out. You lost Drew Holiday. You got Derek White. You got Anthony Simons. So you got Jaylen Brown, George Yang, and you lost Porzingis. And now you got Luke Garza and a butt I ain't never heard of starting the center. So y'all are going to struggle. Let's be real. Hey, look at this. We got the problems here. They're gonna struggle. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. I promise you that. It's not gonna be pretty at all. At all. Y'all about to be in pain for this season. And I hate that Jason Tatum's hurt. But at least the blow wouldn't have been that drastic with him. Without him. Whoa. I hate to say it, but it might be a second round exit. Your team still, it ain't bad still what you got. But it ain't nowhere close to what you used to have. And especially without Tatum now. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. But you all could be just riding the pine just until Tatum returns. And then make some more moves and be back into title contention. But right now, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. I don't like it. I'm not saying I want it to be for y'all, but it's going to be a struggle. I hate to say it. Let me see. They said all the Turkish pay-per-views are flops. Well, that's a bold-faced lie. If you watch the fights that we just watched last weekend, that wasn't a flop. He's had some duds, but that's due to the fighters themselves and their production. But on the whole, most of the fights he's had have been banger after banger after banger without any hitches at all. But again, that's just my opinion and my humble estimation. But now, let's get into the GOAT debate, shall we? Let's talk about it. No, not that one. Where's that? Let's get into the GOAT conversation. Pay-per-view numbers are so low. They have been low in some instances. Yes, they have. They have been low on some instances. Now, also, you got people pirating stuff, taking, with the whole thing of Fire Stick Boys and all this stuff where people are getting illegally streaming and all this stuff. That also takes a precedent on it. It's understandable. Absolutely. But again, like we said before, making money in the immediate or copious amounts. It's not going to be the most immediate. It's not going to be it's not going to be the thing that comes consistently, or at least at first. You get an appetite for greatness. Then you will want to pay consistently because the stuff is quality. Again, people have been pirating stuff for years. So that's how it's going to go. But now that he's got the big players, most of the big players in boxing, all fighting under some way, shape, or form his umbrella in Riyadh season, he's going to make some money. And also, he wants to do away with the pay-per-view model, as we discussed earlier, because pay-per-views, in his mind, are a thing of the past. And if we want boxing, if he wants boxing to be up in the forefront of the mind's eye, so it can be as lucrative as it used to be, then it's got to be seen on a public stage that is accessible for the public to see. NBA makes money not just because it's on, it's on NBA TV, but it's on cable stations that people can see on a continuous weekly basis during the season. It used to be that if you had a TV, you could watch Ali fight. You could. And so if we get back to that, revenue would naturally string in. But the pay-per-view model in some degree is ostracized copious amounts of people to even know what they're looking at. Because they don't know who's fighting, or they ain't got no connection with the people, with the fighters, with anything. Why pay money for something I don't know? You get out of the pay-per-view model. Now there's a vein to where, hey, public sponsors, all this stuff, you make money and you're visibly seen by the masses. And because a fight is an event, similar to the NFL, where you got to be there live to witness it in all its glory, it can change. And it might not be as much of a detrimental change as people may be thinking. It might just be really good. Might be really good. Let me see, the Zone and Riyadh season just responding to Netflix. They need to stay competitive. They do. And again, for the consumer, it's great. For the consumer, this is perfect. Because now, I don't got to pay extra money to go and see the biggest fights. Turkey saying that now he wants all pay-per-views or all pay-per-views with the Zone are now going to be just straight up. If you pay for the subscription, you get the fights, period. This is good. This creates this creates a better appetite. This makes the sport more accessible. This makes so that people can actually see stuff and can afford to watch stuff without being priced out with $60, $80 for what has been duds. And most of these fights with Turkey have not been duds at all. We can blame the PBC. We can blame Top Rank. We can blame Matchroom. We can blame Quisenberry. We can blame all these other promoters. Since their inception of going down in quality, of giving us quality stuff when we want it. But what we can't blame, at least in his short stint here, since he's tried to actually change the sport, is Turkey actually keeping to his word and making events, one, feel big, and two, be worth our time, at least on paper. Again, the fighters still have to produce in the ring, but on paper, he's putting together cards that we've all been saying we wanted to see. Tio, Haney, and Ryan. If you told us 3 years ago they all will be fighting with each other, with the headliners being, if they win, they fight, they will fight against each other for a title, we'll be saying that's preposterous. Usyk Fury undisputed fight twice, we'll be saying that's insane. 3 undisputed fights in a year, unforeseeable. Yet it happened. These cards are not bad. And if you put them on a public display, everybody will get accustomed to, okay, we know who they are. So we want to see what they do. It'll have us be able to say, okay, we ain't got a pirate. We can just watch it. And guess what that will lead to? More sponsors wanting to come through and sponsor events. More people wanting to pay commercials. More companies wanting to go through and attach their name to this sport. Hence will cause more revenue to come before or to become abound. It helps. NBA does it. NFL does it. Now again, it's a different sport, absolutely. But in the vein of there is a model that to succeed if you make it available to everybody. You can do it. And I'm so glad that they're doing it now because it helps so much on a grander scale. Not just the sport, but outright. The fighters, their marketability. Champions feeling like champions. Big fights feeling like big fights. Everybody knowing what's going on. And the sport as a whole growing from it. Where naturally the money will go from it as well. So I'm excited for it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did I do something? Wait a second. Shoot. Wait 1 minute. Did I just do something I didn't want to do with these chats? Come on now. What just happened? Okay. Whoo, Lord, I thought I just blocked somebody. I got scared. I got really scared. I thought I accidentally blocked somebody. Shoot, that was scary. Oh, that was. I thought I had a J Rig situation all over again. I was about to lose it. But look, we're back. We're here. We're better. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on working. So now, GOAT conversation. Like we initially said we were going to discuss. Usyk, GOAT standing. Let's talk about it. Because we got to talk about it. Again, it's still the championship rounds. Don't forget, it is still the championship rounds. We can talk about anything and everything on this show that you all want to do. No question about it. It's still you all's time to shine with the last like 30 minutes to an hour of the show. But now, let's talk about whether or not Usyk is indeed in. Nope, that ain't it. There we go. Is he or is he not in the pound for pound discussion for top 10 heavyweights of all time and top 25 boxers of all time? I want to hear what you all got to say, because based on what I'm seeing right now, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of differentiating opinions on this outcome. Some people say that he ain't. Some people say that he's better than Tyson. Some people say that he's outside the top 15. I want to hear from you all what you got. In fact, let me go and look at the chats from earlier and bring them up as examples of discussion when looking at this whole saga and situation as a whole. Let me move some stuff around this thing, because it is. There we go. That's the setup I was looking for. Okay. But yeah. Let me go back. Let me scroll up and see what the others had said regarding the conversation with the GOAT and Usyk being either top 10 or not top 10. Let's see. So like we said, Matt Borgerson said Usyk could compete in any era with any heavyweight. He could. That is absolutely true. And but recency bias here is wild. And any cruiserweight in any era would be, well, I can't say, I don't know about going that far. You know what? I can't speak on this concretely, so I can say that for certain. I'll leave that alone, because I can't say that for certain. Let me see. Putting Mike in the top. Well, no, hold on. Now, see, there's a whole other conversation. Putting Mike in the top 10 is disrespectful, because whenever Tyson rose to the occasion, he failed. Again, we don't want to we're not trying to diminish the greatness of fighters to elevate the legacy of other fighters. It's not disrespectful to put any of them in the top 10 of heavyweights in history. Even other greats put Tyson in the top 10 because they understand this man at his best was one of the most destructive forces in boxing. When Tyson lost his way, he lost his prime. His prime was incredibly short. But there is many people saying, even Ali, when he sat right beside Tyson and was asked, who do you think would have won between the two? He, again, with all the grace of his greatness, and still could have, and rightfully so, have said, yeah, no, you couldn't beat me. He pointed at him. He said Tyson would have beat him. This is Ali saying this, or signifying this, because this was in the later stages. This was in the later stages of his Parkinson's disease. I believe this was on the Arsenio Hall show. But Ali said Tyson would have beat him. George Foreman said he didn't want anything to do with Tyson when he was coming up, because Tyson was a buddy who would have beaten him alive. And we're talking about early or late Tyson. Or we're talking about early or late Foreman. Would have been a nightmare. Foreman said this himself. Historians have constantly put Tyson as one of the 10 greatest heavyweights ever, though his prime was short. And it was before the Holyfields and others. It's recognized that the brother, he was something insane as a fighter. He was undisputed as well. Destroyed Frank Bruno, Berbick, Tillis, many other really good heavyweights. Again, they were good. But it's the fact that because he was there, they just went away. And again, if he had been able to keep his composure, I think Holyfield and Foreman would have been different. I think if he had been able to, again, keep Rooney, keep all them on the squad, different story. Whole other conversation. Either way, don't use another person's career to diminish it in order to elevate somebody else. That's not what I would do. Now, does he belong in that top 10 top 10 heavyweight conversation? Shoot. What did I say in the past? I think, you know what? Hold on. I made a video about this. Let me not try to misremember. Let me pull up what I said in the past about Usyk and Fury, and about more so Fury's or Usyk's greatness as a fighter. Let me go through and pull up the video right now. Hold on, wait a minute. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Okay, yep, I think I got it. Is Usyk? Yep, here we go. Okay, here. This is what I said in reference to the whole situation with Fury and Tyson being, or Fury with the Fury and Usyk fight, and Usyk being in those pound for pound conversations. Let me pull it up right now. Where's the picture? Here we go. This is what I said. Let me use my own words for my favor. Is Usyk really an all-time great? Absolute, no question. As a heavyweight, he's an all-time great. One of the 25 best heavyweights in history, no question. You can even have an argument for top 15 if you want to. Being the first one since Evander Holyfield to be a cruiserweight and heavyweight champion, being the first undisputed champion in 25 years since Lennox Lewis, the third man to become undisputed in 2 weight classes since Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford. The conversation of, is he in top 10? I don't think he's there. Do I think that he is on the cusp of getting there? There is an argument. Well, there you go. Straight from my own mouth. There's my opinion. There's my thoughts on this whole saga. Usyk, for me, is not in that top 10, but he's at like 11 and 12. Now, if he beats Dubois for a second time, we got ourselves a conversation. We do. We absolutely do. That beating Tyson Fury elevated him immensely. And again, within that top 15, 11 and 12. I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with it. 10, there's an argument for it, absolutely. Now, but my argument would be, after this fight with Dubois, I can better make a concrete claim. Is he top 10 heavyweight ever? Or is he still just outside that heavyweight threshold, or that top 10 heavyweight threshold? Because top 15, I'm not debating you. You can't tell me anything else that he's not one of the 15 greatest heavyweights to ever grace this ring. You can't. Not from what I've seen. And the history that I know, which again, it is, I'm not saying I know everything. And again, there's plenty of other fighters that to a degree go unnoticed. There's historians that would whoop my butt in talking about what it means to be an all-time great fighter in the heavyweight division, bringing up the Negro heavyweight champions that were not able to get a shot at the grandeur of a Jack Johnson and others, but beat people that were better than Jack Johnson, arguably, and still they didn't get the recognition, or they were avoided, even by their own ring of other black fighters, when it was the best fighting the best. That's a whole nother conversation. Again, there's layers and layers and layers on what this heavyweight history truly does entail. There is. And there's more people that know more than me about it. Absolutely. But in my humble estimation, Usyk being 11th, 12th, 15 to 11, there's no, I ain't got no problem having that argument. Top 10, I'm still open to have the argument. Now, I just feel he's not there yet. But after this fight with Dubois, yeah, we can talk. We can conversate. We can discuss. We can have ourselves a real great time. Because that would be insane. And again, also taking age into account, but that's even that adds to the feat. And it would, but you gotta understand, the heavyweight division still is not at the the golden age of sorts that we saw in the past. We understand it. But even when it was dull, when Usyk got here, he faced off against most of the best that were indeed above the rest. And he beat him twice. Every fighter he's beaten that's been elite, he's beaten twice. Yes. Now, of course, with hindsight, we now know where the talent of AJ and others are. Understand it. But still, it's impressive that of the notable names, he's been able to do away with in dominant fashion. It's like he ain't too far up there. He ain't too far from being up there. I can, and again, if I can get let me at least get a list in front of me so I can make sure that I'm not blowing smoke. Because trust me, you going off the top of your head, you can't look like a fool. And there are a plethora, and I mean a plethora of great fighters that have been in the heavyweight division that even right now I may be forgetting, and I don't want to be remiss. I don't. I don't want to be remiss at all. And we're talking about from back in there. I mean, we're talking about from the likes of beating Joe Louis, Lennox Lewis, Sonny Liston, Jim Jeffries, if you want to go back to 1904, George Foreman, who again had 2 stints at different eras and was able to become champ in both of them. Insane. Ridiculous. Larry Holmes, people don't even bring up Larry Holmes as much as they should, though. He's second most title defenses in history. In history. Only behind Joe Louis. And he's arguably forgotten the time. And people just gloss over him. So like it is so much. Rocky Marciano, some people say that he's overrated as a boxer. Some people say that he's underrated. Some people said, hey, buddy, he beat Archie Moore, he beat Wilcox, he beat Ezra Charles, and he was able to go and retire undefeated. Now, rumors of why he retired undefeated and why he didn't fight some of the other up-and-coming boxers. Some people say it's because of the mob. Some people say because he just didn't want to do it no more. Conflicting reports. All we know is, Wiley, again, he beat Joe Louis old. I think Archie Moore was older. I think Ezra Charles might have been older as well, but regardless of which, still, these are dominant names that he was able to overcome and beat. And he almost lost to Wilcox before he ultimately getting one of the greatest knockouts in heavyweight history. Setting him up for a left hook on the ropes that had him posing on one knee. And there's a Jersey Joe Wilcox. So it's like he's being regarded as one of the heaviest handed punchers in boxing history by both his time and beyond. And so it's like, it's insane. Again, Harry Wills, again, another brother who was, I think that was, who was it? What was it? 1920s? Yeah, the Black Panther. Good gosh. Like it's supposed to beat Sam Langford. It's supposed to beat Sam Langford as one of the more dominant heavyweights of his time in the early 20s. And so there's so many names that go through that can get missed or lost to time. But for me, Usyk deserves to be in that 11th, I'll say 11th, 12th. If he beats Dubois again, I might have to start saying top 10. And I got to start thinking about who I'm taking out. I might have to start thinking, because that's insane. That's insane. Usyk top 10, no question. Okay, I respect it. Top 10, no question for you. And then, wait, did I miss somebody else in the chat? Hold on, did I miss somebody else? Usyk's not the GOAT. Okay, well, we're not calling Usyk the GOAT. Let's be clear. We're not calling Usyk the GOAT of the heavyweight division. We're not saying he's the greatest of all time. No, I don't think he's better than Joe Louis. No, I don't think he's better than Ali. I don't think he's better than George Foreman. That's not discrediting Usyk. There are still rungs to the ladder that I don't think Usyk has gotten to yet, but substantially. He deserves a type of talk. Top 15 minimum. Top 10. There's a great debate. And his career isn't even done yet. See, here's the thing. Excuse me, I had to get something to drink. But his career isn't done. Like his career ain't done. He could beat Dubois and then beat Fury again. He could beat Dubois. Let's say he beats an AJ Caballero. Let's say he beats a Moses Atuma. Now, let's say he beats Joseph Parker, who we have been saying deserves a shot at the title. He beats any of those other fighters. More specifically, Parker. Than anything, who's been a contender, deserved to be a contender, has looked to be, okay, yeah, he's the fourth best heavyweight in the world right now, in many people's eyes. Would you not be able to say that, okay, this man legitimately cleaned out two divisions without any questions about who's the best? And he retires undefeated while taking on every test imaginable. There's some legitimacy to say, hey, there's something to this. We might be witnessing a true shift in culture of what the rankings could be. And let's see, and he's ahead of Tyson. And it's now, again, maybe it's me having fondness of Tyson. I'm not trying, I've never been one to try to overhype Tyson. I've been one to provide context to his career, but never try to ingenuously or disingenuously go through and rank him above where he deserves to be ranked. But for me, talent and accolades both come into play when I'm talking about these people's careers. Just like a pound for pound and go conversation, it's a litany of things that take part into why he is where he is. But for me, from a talent, Tyson was a better talent than Usyk, though Usyk has accomplished more. But Tyson still reached the top of the mountain at his time, and was fighter of the year at his time with other greats in the division as well in the 90s and 80s. And it's like, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. I got to think about it. Because again, as a talent, Tyson was better. In my opinion, it's as great as Usyk is. I know what I was seeing in Mike Tyson. Tyson was better. He was. Not just because of the power, but the sharpness in his movements, the technical ability, the ability, how he thought and how he executed. Especially at 5'11", 5'10", more likely than anything. That's insane. So I don't think that Usyk is better than Tyson from a talent perspective. But accolades-wise, two-time undisputed with the names of his time that he did beat, which again in both divisions were great. I ain't got no argument for it. He did it. He did it. Like he did it. And there's no dispute about it. And so like I'm not gonna fight against it. It's I gotta think. For me, I gotta think. Yeah, I really gotta think. I really gotta think about it. That is a really good question. That's a really good question. Shoot. Dang. This got me stumped. This actually got me stumped. I might have to read back through. I might have to reevaluate. I might have to reevaluate some things. Because Tyson's, see, here's the thing. Tyson's career and his talent sadly just didn't match up. Because his talent was indeed all-time great. And when he reached it, it was undeniable. But it's just, he fizzled out so quick. And he was nowhere close to that version of Tyson again. Once again, the Don Kings got a hold of him and fame and all this stuff. Craziness abounded with Tyson internally with his life. Once he dropped, he dropped. And it's like, but when he was there, it. I gotta think. I gotta do some research. I'm real. When I say I don't know, I don't know. I gotta do some research. I gotta do some research to really think about this. I gotta do some research and really think about this. Because Usyk, he's got the accomplishments. And he dominated his era more than Tyson. That's objectively true. But Tyson was objectively better when he was at his best and when he did conquer the mountain. That version of Tyson was indeed, at least to me, better than Holyfield. But he wasn't that version of Tyson when he fought Holyfield, especially when he fought Lance Lewis and others. But he beat the Ruddicks, he beat the Tillises, he beat other good heavyweights though. But Usyk beat AJ and Fury. But AJ was shot, but it was still AJ. And he beat Fury twice. And there's no qualms about the Fury thing. And the Dubois wasn't the Dubois that we see now. But if he beats the Dubois now, that's a better Dubois than the Dubois that he fought before. That's I'm having this back and forth. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. I lost myself. I'm having this back and forth in my mind because I'm going through their careers, who they were, what they did, how good they were fighters, and what the ultimate accomplishments were. And I'm like, dang, is Usyk greater than Tyson? Shoot, that almost seems sacrilegious to say. But that's tough. That's tough. That's a tough outing. That is a tough sentiment to think about. Because like, dang. But see, I don't want to discredit the era though. But outside of Fury and AJ, once you hit the heavyweight division, it wasn't, again, we were complaining about it. It wasn't skill based, it was more so size based. Though Tyson was the beginning of size beats all in the heavyweight division, they were still a lot more nuanced and full, well-rounded skill-wise during his era before they completely went into the other way, with it being strictly about size and weight and power being all without the technique that heavyweights of Tyson's era and back did in fact have. Oh man, I gotta think about this. Yeah, I gotta think. I can't lie. I can't lie. It's okay to like Tyson more. I can't see how you can say Tyson is more talented. Well, again, from a you have to understand. Usyk is the size of Muhammad Ali. with the footwork and all, which is great. And he's fighting giants as well. Insane. Absolutely insane. Again, of today's crop of heavyweight, he's the smallest in the division of the dominant champions. At least before on his run to a title and getting a title. Tyson was 5'10", going up against people 6'4" and above. Consistently, constantly. Again, this is the equivalent to Canelo, with how he's been fighting been small most of his career. Now imagine Canelo Alvarez campaigning at light heavyweight and or cruiserweight and becoming undisputed champion at that weight class. That's what it was like with Tyson. From the standpoint of, you should, again, the only anybody that did it or that was competitive coming up from cruiserweight to heavyweight or being around the size of Tyson, was Muhammad Qawi. That brother was 5'10". Used a cross-guard head move and all that stuff, and he couldn't win. He couldn't get, as a heavyweight, he couldn't get over that hump. I think he was a champion at cruiserweight, but at heavyweight, he couldn't get over that. The Foremans and others of the world, they were just too big for him. But Tyson, to be able to be that same height, but to be able to become undisputed champion, when it was, again, the molding of big guys in the next era or in this era, size is becoming more of a dominant factor, but also we still have the skill sets and practice the skill sets more than what the next era did. And the eras beyond that of fighting like smaller fighters. They still retain that same level of, again, they still did have, they had better combinations. They had better stamina. Again, I'm not trying to dismiss this era of heavyweights and just say, oh yeah, this era ain't. No, I'm not doing it. But we have been saying on this show consistently, and Al Booker, you've been there too, talking about how heavyweights today are not nearly as skilled as heavyweights of the 90s, of the 80s, of the 70s, of the 60s, of the past, because they stopped training with those types of skill sets because their bodies, they were only caring about being big, lumbering, not skillful, but just straight up power. You still had the combination of power and skill, but with the elevation in size by the time Tyson came around. Beating people, again, 5'10", going up against 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", consistently throughout his career. And so it's, again, AJ, Frank Bruno. He beat him twice. You see what I'm saying? In terms of an Adonis, powerful puncher, knockout artist. I saw AJ what, 6'5", 6'4". Bruno was what, 6'4"? I think it was about 6'4". But that same, muscle, physicality, all that stuff, some of the same drawbacks too. Tyson whooped that, knocked it out. In terms of knocked out Frank Bruno, took his belt, took his belt again, or at least defending his belt against him, and beat him again. We had Razor Ruddocks and a litany of other people that were indeed good and would have been great heavyweights and champions if it wasn't for Tyson being in that era and point in time. Because they were indeed talented. They were strong. They were well-rounded. It's just Tyson made everybody seem obsolete. And then when the elites of the elites came, again, the Lennoxes, the Holyfields, and again, Buster Douglas, of course, we know what the upset that did happen. It wasn't most, at least with the Douglas situation. The brother genuinely was getting similar to Roberto Duran again with the fight against Sugar Ray Leonard the second time. The brother didn't train. Cocaine, drugs, all that stuff, partying, all that stuff. Again, fame, like we said, fame had gotten to him. The crux of Tyson was fame, which is insane. The crux of Tyson was fame. If fame hadn't gotten to Tyson, and he was as driven as he was when he was 16, like he was when he won the title at 21, If he had continued that same mentality and not let everything else get in the way of him, he could have reigned. And he could have been, I've been saying for the longest time, he could have been undefeated. If life had not taken Tyson out of his prime. Which, again, the career is the career. I'm not denying it. I'm not denying that at all. The career, what happened? He lost. He lost to Lennox. He lost to Holyfield. He lost to Douglas. He lost to Holyfield again. He still got some wins against great people. But when the elites of the elites came, what happened? He failed. I completely understand it. But the why for me is very important with any conversation. Just like the why for why Usyk is a very good argument for why he should, if you rank him above him, I ain't got no issue. Because the accolades speak for themselves. But when I look at the strictly the talent for talent, ability versus ability, I think Tyson was a better fighter. Though there's a great argument that Usyk has a better career. That for right now. And again, like I said, I'm going to think about this more. I'm going to do some more research. I want to make sure I understand this whole thing correct, because I never thought about it. I've never thought about Tyson and Usyk, who's greater. This is a new thought for me. So I'm trying to piece together things as we're talking through. I'm talking through it with you all right now while I'm going through this whole discussion. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying just to ride from one guy or another. I am literally talking through this whole topic live right now, because it's the first time I ever thought about it. Because at some point there wasn't a need to. Tyson's greater. Tyson's better. Okay, move on. Now there's a discussion, because the career has turned into something great, and it deserves it. So I'm like, ooh, I got to think. I have to think. I have to think. That's a good question. This is a really good question. Y'all have to think about this even more. I'm gonna have to think about this even more. Because again, for me, talent-wise, Tyson, for me, is better than Usyk. Absolutely. Tyson had the power, the speed, one of the fastest heavyweights in history. Did have a phenomenal chin. Again, it's been tracked, and others have also said that about him as well. Others who have chins have said Tyson has a great chin. Even now, the brother ain't getting knocked out by Jake Paul, who's 56, when he was 56, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And from a technical aspect, he was, even with as great as Usyk was, Tyson was sharper technically. At the peak of his powers, Tyson was sharper. Tyson was more A to B, I'm there. And IQ wise, both of them, again, you again, stylistically, you may say, oh, what do you mean? Usyk does all these different traps and stuff like that. Tyson was just a one-dimensional, no, that's not true. Tyson was, the art of war wasn't just about the mentality of thinking. Tyson, under custom model, lived and breathed the art of dissecting what your opponent can do and maximizing yourself to end them. Going at all styles. He can, if you ever listen to Tyson, he can break down styles like few can. His understanding of the game is on a level of mastery, like the likes of which has been of the greats. It's true. It's true. That's not me trying to hype up in it. That's me and other greats. That's Sugar Ray Leonard talking about Tyson. That ain't just me. That's Leonard talking about Tyson. That's Durant. That's Fury talking about Tyson. That's AJ talking about Tyson. That's Usyk talking about Tyson. This ain't just me talking, saying this stuff to hype up Tyson just because I may like him. This is today's greats. Yesterday's greats. Talking about Tyson as well. So it's that type of stuff that makes this difficult to do. So again, to put a bow in it, for at least for now, I feel Usyk has an argument for a better career, accomplishments and all that stuff. Absolutely. But as a fighter, Tyson's a better fighter when they were both at the peak of their powers. In my eyes. Now, if you don't agree, I completely understand. And I would love to hear your debates and opinions on it, absolutely. But just for me, that's how I feel. And blending the gap between the two of which one I'm going to value more, because it ain't like Tyson didn't have a great career in his own right. Again, he was pound for pound number one. He was, at one point in time, the in all of boxing, the best brother in the world. No question. And it wasn't a close conversation, though there were other greats in said conversation of the time when Tyson was in the ranks of up here in the box in the boxing eye. With Usyk, Crawford also vying, and everybody got in, is Usyk really 3? Is Usyk really 2? Again, the list is subjective. I understand it. It's a subjective list, pound for pound. I'm not saying it's concrete. But it is a tough conversation. That's a tough conversation. That's a good conversation. I'm really have to start taking some time to think about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like ending stuff on inconclusive sentences, but for that conversation, I have to think about it. I do. I'm gonna be real. I gotta take some time to think about it. It may not even be by tomorrow. Shoot, it might take me a week to think about that fight. At least after the Dubois fight, it's going to help me out. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to listen to some people. I'm going to listen to some historians. But that's a good conversation. That's a really good conversation. But I guess we're ending on this. Regardless of who you have in the top 10, there is no denying that at least amongst that 15 to 11 threshold, Usyk should be there for heavyweight history. In all time, top 25, that's where I got him. That's where I got him, top 25. All time, regardless of fighter, top 25. It's hard for me to think of 25 people that were better than Usyk at his best. It's hard. With everything Usyk's doing right now. Not saying you can't make an argument. I'm just saying right now, that's where I would have him. But because of that, there's room to grow. And there's room to flourish and shine. We're gonna see where that road goes. And we're gonna see see where that road heads to. And obviously Usyk is definitely a better fighter, boxer, center, whatever you want to call it. Again, I respect your opinion. I don't agree as a fighter, he's better. As a career, there's a great argument that he's had a better career. That's the juxtaposition. Again, for me, if you don't agree, again, I respect it. I understand. Absolutely, I feel you. But again, part of me learning about what it meant to truly understand boxing was studying Tyson, like religiously. Now, I'm not saying I know more than you. I'm not saying that I'm some savant. Oh, you should bow down to what I say. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But from what I have worked to try to garner, to understand the sport, and understanding what separates one talent from another, it's hard for me not to say, watching both of these guys' careers, Tyson going back in retrospective from start to finish, and Usyk watching him grow and rise from cruiserweight to heavyweight. As a fighter, it is concrete to me, in my eyes, that Tyson was a better fighter. But Usyk has a great argument for a better career than Mike Tyson. Accomplishing more. Being his prime not only stretched wider, but his reign was longer. And nothing else has affected said reign. And so that's where I'm like, man, it's a tough deal. Again, for me, going off of outright who's greater, taking those two things into account. Because one clears the other in one department, and the other arguably clears the other in the other department. So I'm like, shoot, my gosh. But regardless, which again, I do not mean disrespect. Please, I do not mean disrespect. This is a fluid conversation that we're going to continue to have, probably until the day that Usyk retires, and even afterwards, till when he retires. Probably going to be a conversation that just lasts up until his career is officially done. Probably going to be that. But still, regardless of which, we're going to be here for the ride. And again, it could change depending on what happens with Dubois, depending on what happens with this fight this weekend. If he wins, if he loses, that's going to all of a sudden people watch. I guarantee you, if Usyk loses to Dubois this Saturday, watch how people flip. Watch how people, I guarantee you. Watch. I'm not saying I want him to lose. But I'm saying if he does, watch how the public flips on him. Watch how the conversations all of a sudden change at the drop of a hat. It won't even be that Dubois has retooled himself into something great to beat a great fighter. It'll be that Usyk, oh my gosh, Usyk was never really all that. I guarantee you, it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible sentiment. I promise you. But that's what's going to happen. I promise you what's going to happen. I promise you. I hate it. But I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. People are going to say Usyk's a fraud. People are going to say Tyson's a fraud. People are going to say that Usyk was never really all that good. People are going to say he should never be in any GOAT conversation for anything. Top 10, my butt. Top 15, my butt. That's what people are going to start saying if he loses. I guarantee you. I promise you. The public will turn on that butt in a heartbeat. I don't want that to happen. But when these types of conversations start coming up, this is where any small setback will stop momentum for the public for where they want to put you or not put you, unless you're extremely solidified. Not saying that Usyk isn't there, but I've seen people that I thought you can't say anything against all of a sudden be completely put out to pasture by the public with one loss. And it's just like, there's no way. Y'all, he was a fraud in the first place. And again, it's social media. It's public. They're fickle. We get it. We understand it. But I'm just telling you, be prepared, because that's a conversation that can happen quicker than you may expect. In the other direction for Usyk, I don't want it to happen. It shouldn't be the case. He should still be in that, even with the loss, he should still be one of the 15 greatest heavyweights in history. Even with the loss, he's still one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And it's still one of the greatest fighters in history. But I promise you, in some cases, people are going to say, no, done. Forget it. Should never have that. You're stupid to think he was there in the first place. I promise you, that's what will happen. Don't let Tyson Fury don't let Tyson Fury see that either. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. He will run Usyk's name into the mud if that happens. I guarantee he will. I promise you will. But again, that's just, again, it's food for thought. We're probably going to have this conversation more and more and more. I got to think about it more so, the Tyson and Usyk thing, more than the all-time great thing. But it's still, I need to go retrospective, look at some history, all this stuff, and still want to hear your opinions, still want to hear your thoughts, still want to hear what you all got to say. But even if you don't agree, hopefully it's good conversation. Again, hopefully, again, even if you don't agree, I respect it. No issue, no problem. Because again, I'm not denying your arguments. It's just for me. For me, it's how I feel about it. But this is a place of discourse. We want to hear other opinions. Help us learn some new stuff. Help me see it from a different way. Absolutely. So I'd love to see it. And so, let me keep on reading. Top 10 heavyweight for sure. I don't know about top 25 across all weight classes. Just so many fighters over the decades, hard to say. You're right. Again, let me rein that in a little more. After this, we'll get ready to go. Beyond from the scope of what I know about boxing, I'll say that from my current understanding of the sport right now, Usyk would be a top 25 fighter for me all time, from what I understand about the sport currently. As I continue to learn more about it, he can move up, he can move down. Because you're right, there's a litany of fighters, both popularized and not, that have achieved insane feats of greatness that just boggle the mind. But they're either not talked about, they're either disrespected, or they're forgotten. And then people just don't know them. It's absolutely true. We know this. No question about that. So I'll put this barometer for what I know now in the sport with my current knowledge of boxing, however much or little it may be. He's a top 25 fighter in my eyes from what I have knowledgeable right now for the history of the sport. And that could change the more I know. But for right now, all going off of what I know about the history, as much as I've tried to learn about the history, while there's still things I may not know about history, no question about that, the current standings for me would be at least within that top 25 range. We could even push it to top 30. That's fine. But within that threshold would be where I have Usyk. Top 25, top 30. Based on what I have as a knowledge of boxing across the board. Though it's an incredibly wide sweeping scale. He could elevate by the end of his career. And also by the stuff I learned. He can de-elevate. Or excuse me, he can fall down the ladder. By what happens on Saturday and by what I learned as we continue to grow in history. So, but for now, that's my biggest thing, my best thing. Top 25, top 30 is my ranking. For the knowledge that I have right now, as I grow more, it can move up or it can move down. But for what I know now, he's top 25, top 30 for me. Let me see. I could see top 40 for sure. I ain't got no problem with that either. At least within, I'm not trying to push the bar, but at least in the top 50 of fighters bar minimum. It ain't 50 better than Usyk. At least that. At least that. Now for me, that goes up to 25, 30. But 40, I can agree with it. Absolutely. Yeah, top 30 is safe. Okay, so we can agree on it. We can agree on it. Top 30 safe bet. Top 30 safe bet. The more I learn about history, the better I can make that elevation or keep it stagnated as I learn more about boxers and their historic feats across weight classes. Because again, across the board, there's been thousands of fighters across over 150 years of the sport existing. And the evolution of the sport changing and growing and shifting and moving and all this stuff. I get it. I completely get it. Going from bantamweight 108, 115, 118, 130, 135, 140, 147, 154, 160, 168, 175. Cruiserweight, bridgerweight, which you just got at it. Doggone it, heavyweight. All this different stuff. It's been... There's so many classes. And greats that have dominated set classes. That have maybe just didn't get notoriety. So it's an insane thing. So top 30, safe bet. So we can agree on that, absolutely. But again, we'll have more discussions about this as the days go on, and we're going to have more discussions about this on tomorrow, because we still got a show coming up on tomorrow. But with all that being said, it is 2 hours, 37 minutes. We're trying to get in before it rains. We don't want potentially lightning striking this thing and us knocking out the power. So with all that being said, this has been another episode of The Watch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Let's Show with me today on this Thursday afternoon. I appreciate it. Again, please leave a like on the stream before you leave. Comment your thoughts and opinions on whatever you liked or disliked about this show, your discussions, your debates, and all that stuff. Please subscribe to the channel, join the empire, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube. Also, be sure to share the show with everybody you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. The show's going to be on Apple, Spotify, and every podcasting platform imaginable at the end of the day, so you can listen to it on the go. Rate us 5 stars there. If you want to give us support the show, please Cash App, PayPal, links in the description as well for you to give and support to the show. Anything will do, and it would mean the world to me and help us to invest back in the show, put some money in my pocket, and help us to make this show bigger and better and grander for you all to enjoy, because hey, that's what you all deserve. And we're going to be back on Friday for the championship rounds, where the whole show is dictated by you, the viewer, to see what you got to say about anything going on in the sports world. Absolutely. But with all that being said, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful and beautiful. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. We are going to see you all on Friday.